Welcome to the Small Business Report with your co-host, Carl Brown, the Executive Director of the DC Small Business Development Center, and Sharon Morton. They're bringing you all the tools you need to succeed. Stay tuned for expert advice for business owners, subject matter experts, and government agencies on how to start, grow, and finance your business right here at HUR Voices on Sirius XM, Channel 141. The Small Business Report will be right back with a show you don't want to miss after these messages.
Hey, Small Business Report listeners, are you a small or mid-sized business? Let BDPAtoday.com help you leverage emerging technologies and digital innovations to transform your business.
BDPAtoday.com will highlight your organization's innovations, solutions, and success stories. Let BDPAtoday.com publish your branded videos, blogs, and photos to a national tech industry audience and assist with your awareness building campaign. With BDPAtoday.com, you can network with qualified and certified tech professionals and get access to developers, gamers, hackers, and interns to join your team for short or long-term projects.
Visit BDPAtoday.com for true digital transformation that will drive competitive advantage to your organization.
That's BDPAtoday.com.
This is HUR Voices on Sirius XM Radio Channel 141 with your hosts Carl Brown and Sharon Morton.
Welcome to the Small Business Report here on Sirius XM Channel 141. This is your host Carl Brown, the Executive Director of the DC Small Business Development Center. And in the studio with me today is Sharon Morton.
Yes, your constant and consummate co-host of MortonMediaTV.com. Glad to be here, Carl. How's everything?
Yeah. Oh, everything is lovely.
Good.
The SBDCs are rolling along in this COVID-19 coronavirus environment. We are still doing our thing.
That's a good thing for small businesses.
Look, we are seeing record numbers of people coming in that want to start new small businesces. We are seeing record numbers of people going out of business, which is very unfortunate. Every day I learn about new small businesses going out of business all over this country, but specifically in Washington, D.C., people's dreams and hopes and aspirations have been dashed by this COVID-19 environment.
Unfortunately. And the good news, though, is that, the DC SBDC and the SBDCs around the country can teach these small business owners how to pivot and maybe take their business online or do something that will allow them to continue their business successfully. But yeah, it's rough out there. It's tough and tumble. And a lot of people who lost their jobs are having to start a small business, like you said.
And that's what we're seeing, and they're bringing a lot of skills to the table.
Yeah.
And, and it might have been a hobby that they had that they were working on for a couple of years. And now they're saying, well, hey, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and start this business because I don't know when I'm going to go back to work, if I'm going to go back to work, or even if there's a job for me to go back to when the coast is clear.
So what website can all of those people go to? Because you have a ton of grant opportunities out there. You have so many resources.
We got a ton of money sitting right there on the website. And every day we load it up with new grants available. Just go to DCSBDC.org, DCSBDC.org, or if you're not in the Washington metropolitan area, you can go to Americas with an S, SBDC.org, Americas with an S, SBDC.org. I was on a call yesterday because I'm a board member with folks from around the country, and we were all talking about the same thing, seeing record numbers of people coming in for counseling because counseling is free. So we want people to take advantage of it. There are no barriers to counseling.
So we've got to get ready to go to break. And when we come back on the other side, we can talk about that some more, but we'll also be talking about real estate. So that's a great thing to talk about right now.
That industry has been impacted positive and negative.
Yeah, let's talk about that when we come back from break here on the Small Business Report on Sirius XM Channel 141, HUR Voices. Computer systems in cars are the new normal, from electronically controlled transmissions to dozens of sensors. So when something breaks, it could cost a fortune. That's why I have CarShield. CarShield has affordable protection plans that can save you thousands for a covered repair, including computers and electronics. The people at CarShield understand payment flexibility is a must. Monthly plans can be customized to your needs with rates as low as $99 a month. No long-term contracts. At CarShield, you get to choose your favorite mechanic or dealership, and CarShield takes care of the rest. They offer complimentary 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car while yours is being repaired. CarShield has helped over 1 million customers. For as low as $99 a month, you can protect yourself from surprises and save thousands for a covered repair. Call 800-CAR-6000 and mention code REPORT, or visit carshield.com and use code REPORT to save 10%. That's carshield.com, code REPORT. A deductible may apply. Are you a business owner and your business needs a boost? Are you ready to build or grow a profitable business that delivers new clients and customers to you every month? Have your business highlighted on a national radio show or TV network. Let MortonMediaTV.com help you get the maximum exposure your business deserves so that you can get the customers you need. MortonMediaTV.com will help you start or grow your business rapidly through the power of TV and radio. You can reach hundreds of thousands of viewers and listeners who want to buy your product or service. At MortonMediaTV.com, our mission is to teach business owners how to use the media to their benefit. You can become a thriving entrepreneur and achieve the financial freedom you've always dreamed about. Go to MortonMediaTV.com and get your business on TV or radio for the maximum exposure you deserve and the customers you need. That's MortonMediaTV.com.
Hey, Small Business Report listeners, it's your host, Carl Brown and Sharon Morton. Are you a growing small or mid-sized government contractor ready to reduce your back office costs? Do you want to maximize your compliance and minimize risk managing contracts? Move your business to the next level of success with At-Work Systems.
At-Work's OneLink solution provides electronic self-services to every employee, greatly reducing frustrating paperwork. Your managers get out-of-the-box processes that increases productivity, improves control, and eliminates surprises. And most importantly, your executives get the real-time data and analysis needed to make better decisions.
Take it from us here on the Small Business Report on SiriusXM. Let At-Work Systems streamline your back office and save you money while doing it.
Visit exploreatwork.com now and receive your free demo and business assessment. That's exploreatwork.com.
This is HUR Voices on Sirius XM Radio Channel 141 with your hosts Carl Brown and Sharon Morton.
Welcome to the Small Business Report here on Sirius XM Channel 141. And today our guest is Marcia Holmes. She is the proud owner and broker of Penn Premier Real Estate, residential and real estate company.
Okay.
So I want to welcome Marcia to the Small Business Report.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me today.
So
Yeah.
Marcia, tell us, how has the real estate market been impacted by the COVID-19
pandemic.
So surprisingly, the real estate market has been on fire. And we just kind of have this running joke that we are pandemic proof, or we have been proven to be pandemic proof. It's so stimulated. Right now, we are in what we call a seller's market. Mm-hmm. If a property is placed on the market and it's priced correctly, it is gone.
Wow.
Within like 3 days. I literally kid you not. a lot of times we have multiple offers within 24 hours.
Wow.
Yes.
That must be why I'm getting all of these spam text messages.
Yes.
Asking if I want to sell my property. I'm like, what is going on? I never even, I've been in the same house for 28 years. Why would they even reach out to me?
Well, you know what? I get that question a lot, and it's just a form of marketing. It is, yeah, that's all. Some people be like, oh my God, are they spying on me? What do they know? Like, they're asking all these questions. I'm like, no, it's just marketing. It's not personal at all.
How do people... Go ahead, Carl.
No, go ahead, Sharon.
I was going to say, how do people like view the properties? Are they online looking at the properties virtually? And then do they make a decision without even going into the property? I don't get it.
Okay. So at first, when this whole COVID thing came about, yeah, it was a little weary at first. Like people just didn't know what to do. So they turned to straight virtual. But you can imagine, like, who would want to purchase a property without seeing it, touching it, feeling it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it quickly turned from that. And so what we do now is they're very particular about the times that they're showing the property. So we're pre-COVID, you know, you may have an overlap in times where people are in a property, you know, at the same time. So like I could be showing a property to a family, somebody else could be showing a property to the family. And sometimes we will, you know, I take upstairs, they take downstairs, whatever. So no more of that. You specifically have to schedule your showings online or directly with the agent. And each homeowner gives specific instructions on how they want to do it. If the property is vacant, then you just make sure that it's just you and your client there. If it's owned and occupied, the seller may have their own things. They may want you to wear masks. They may want you to wear shoe covers. They may want you to wear gloves. And yeah, so that's basically
how you do it. Okay,
that's how we do it now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be done that way anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you attribute the houses being on the market for so short, and what's making that happen?
It's the interest rates. The feds have kept them down. Yes,
they are super low.
It is all about the money.
Yeah, those rates. You can get an even bigger house now because the rates are so low where you'd be paying the same amount for a smaller house. I mean, you know, the same amount you'd pay for a smaller house, you'd pay a mortgage for a bigger house, right?
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. I had a client that actually purchased a $750,000 home about 2 weeks ago. And the lender was able to give them a 2.7% interest rate.
Wow.
Wow. Can you hear me? 2.7. And this is a fixed rate over 30 years.
Gosh.
2.7. Unheard of.
It is. So their mortgage must have been like, what, $3,000 at the most?
Somewhere around it. It may have been a little more than that. I think it was a little somewhere in like.
Right, but that means you could get a $500,000 house for, you know, less than a $3,000 mortgage. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So now, of course, you know, FICO score makes a difference in all of this. I will say this about COVID. So when we first entered into the market for COVID, of course, the lenders was frightened because they're the ones who takes on the biggest risk, right? We as consumers, we go through the approval process, and then they say, yes, okay, here, you can have this $750,000. But technically, it's theirs because we're borrowing against it, right?
Right.
So they are the ones who take on the biggest risk. So initially, they're like, oh, crap. So before it went, the FICO score only had to be, I don't know, somewhere 620, 640. Some lenders will go to 580. Of course, you're not going to get those kind of interest rates when your FICO score is lower. But nonetheless, there were some that was out here doing it. When COVID hit, they immediately tightened up on the guidelines. And they went and said nothing under 680. Okay. If you don't have a 680 credit score, we're not touching it. Yeah. And that was just, you know, their reaction to COVID. Because they take on the biggest risks, right? So it makes sense, right?
Right.
And then I don't know. That probably lasts about a month or so ago.
They changed those numbers again.
They changed. They came on down.
Right.
And so now they're at 640 now. So
wow.
you get a 640 or better.
You can get a house. You can get a new house.
You can get a new house
with a low interest rate, or maybe not as low, but lower.
Not as low, but a 640, and of course we're talking FICA, we're talking assets, because that makes a difference, right?
Right.
You gotta think about it. You gotta say, hey, if I was giving someone $750,000, I would want my $750,000 back, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna need to know a little bit about you. What kind of money? If you come, if you run into a rainy day, you got any savings?
Right.
You got a 401.
Right,
you got
right.
What do you have to ensure that you're not gonna default on this loan? And so that's what's actually happening, and sometimes the clients get a little antsy when the lender is saying, well, I need to see this and I need to see that and I need to see that. My favorite saying to them is, listen, if you were giving someone 700, and I keep using that number because, I said something about it earlier today, but if you're giving someone hundreds of thousands of dollars, you would try to do your due diligence too, to ensure that you're going to get paid back.
Definitely.
Right?
That's
definitely.
right.
And then that seems to bring them comfort and be like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. And they're like, but they asked me, where did I get $100 from that I put in my bank account?
Right. Yeah. What about, Marcia, what about people who want to buy investment properties? Is it the same, or is it a different process?
So the DMV, oh my God, they love their investment properties. Oh my God, it is really stimulated.
Yeah, because it's easy to fill them up. It's easy to rent it out. It's easy.
Yeah, we have a lot of investors here in the area, but not enough property, which means that's the whole thing about a seller's market is simple supply and demand.
Yeah.
There's not enough properties to accommodate these 2-point attractive interest rates for all of these buyers who want to buy, right?
Where are these buyers getting the money, and when so many people are out of work? Well, that's one of the main questions I want to know.
So here we go. So,
because you have to have a down payment, right? You got to have a down payment in most instances, unless you're a veteran.
Yes, you have to have a down payment in most instances. If it's an FHA, it's 3.5%. There are some conventional programs that are at 3%. 10%, 20%. Each lender has their own little thing, but that's about, what we're talking. So one, again, yes, you do need to have some money saved up as a down payment. And when you're talking about a seller's market, you're not getting any help from the seller because they don't have to. Right. I described earlier that, hey, 24 hours, if you have multiple offers, as a seller, what is your number one goal? Your number one goal is to maximize your profit. So why would I take your offer if you asking me to give you 2% in closing help? I'm not going to do that because that's going to be money out of my pocket. And I don't have to do that because I got 5 other offers that I can choose from who's not asking me for anything. So that is why it's a seller's market. But back to your question. You have to, not only do you have to have your down payment, but you also have to have your closing cost money too, because just as I just described, you're not likely to get it from the seller because they don't have to.
Okay, Marcia, we got about 30 seconds and we're going to bring you back
what's
on
your
the other
website?
end. Yeah, what's your website address?
Okay, so my website is www.penpremier, that's PREMIER, no E on the end, realestategroup.com. My Facebook, if I may, Facebook is Pen Premier Real Estate Group, and my IG is at Pen Premier.
Okay, we're going to come right back, Carl, and talk some more to Marcia about real estate after these messages here on the Small Business Report on Sirius XM Channel 141, HUR Voices.
Get ready for skincare and makeup that will heal your mind, body, and soul. SkinDeepBeautyStore.com is a totally organic, and vegan skincare and makeup line that you'll love using, because what you put on your body is just as important as what you put in it. Choose from our organic moisturizers, anti-aging serums, natural and fruit-based scrubs, masks, lipsticks, and glosses. No more worries about harsh chemicals being absorbed into your skin. It's time to commit to your health and wellness. SkinDeepBeautyStore.com is your one-stop, cruelty-free skincare and makeup shop with safe and environmentally friendly ingredients for the love of you. Visit us at SkinDeepBeautyStore.com. That's SkinDeepBeautyStore.com.
Do you need expert advice from successful business leaders on how to start, grow, and finance your business? Tune in every week to the Small Business Report at HUR Voices on Sirius XM Channel 141 with your hosts Carl Brown and Sharon Morton. The Small Business Report gives you, the small business owner, and those thinking about starting a business, expert advice from successful business leaders around the country. Visit us at smallbusinessreport.biz and like us on Facebook. The Small Business Report, giving you the tools you need to succeed. This is HUR Voices on Sirius XM Radio Channel 141 with your hosts Carl Brown and Sharon Morton.
And welcome back to the Small Business Report on Sirius XM Channel 141, HUR Voices. We were talking to Marcia Holmes of Penn Premier Residential Real Estate. Is that right, Marcia? Is that the right title or no?
So, yeah, the title is Penn Premier Real Estate Group.
Okay, Penn Premier Real Estate Group. And that's Penn, P-E-N-N, or just P-E-N?
P-E-N-N.
Okay, cool. We were actually wanting to know, where do people get the money to buy a house during this pandemic when so many people are out of work and the sellers aren't giving them any money toward the down payment or the points or whatever?
Okay, so it's not magic, guys. You have to save your money. So you have to save up. You have to hit the lottery. You got to do something.
You got to do all that.
You got to do all of that in the COVID world. Uh-huh.
That's right, in the COVID world. But here's the thing about COVID. So we're going out and we are getting these mortgages, and we're getting these very attractive interest rates. But again, because the lender is taking on the risk, they're trying to ensure that they are going to get their money back. Mm-hmm. So one of the other guidelines that they changed is, of course, before someone gives you the money, they got to make sure you have a job, right? So before they would do what we call a VOE, which is verification of employment. Mm-hmm. They would do it like one time during the process of doing the pre-approval. Now, right before closing, a lot of the underwriters says, okay, let me make sure you still got a job. Let me see that VOE again 48 hours before we go to closing. And not only that, I need to see your pay stubs. Why? Because people are getting furloughed. People are losing their jobs every day. Yep. And they want to ensure that that is not you. Because God forbid, you go out, you get yourself a mortgage, you got this new house, and everything was all good the day you signed, but 2 weeks later or a month or 6 months later, you don't have a job. So how are you going to pay?
Right.
So we want to purchase to keep. We want to keep our properties. We don't lose our properties.
What about small business owners, Carl, like small business owners who are in business, they're still in business. What is it that's required for them in terms of providing proof of income?
So for small business owners, it really depends on how you go about paying yourself. If you are a W-2, if you W-2 yourself, you show your W-2s and your tax returns. Mm-hmm. There are some lenders who have bank statement programs. So small businesses, they take a lot of losses, right?
Right. Yes, as a small business owner, I can say yes, that is so true.
Yeah, we take a lot of losses, and so when we get ready to do our taxes, and I'm just going to throw a number out there. Let's say, it looked like you made $200,000, but by the time you finish doing all your losses, you got like 50 cents. I don't know,
Got enough for a cup of coffee.
Right, exactly.
But not at Starbucks.
Right, Carl, right.
So, if that is the case, then you don't want to be judged by your tax returns.
Right.
So lenders have become a little more savvy, and they say, I understand small business owners. You know, you're making the money, but sometimes it doesn't really reflect on your tax returns. So they will do what they call bank statements. So they like to see, they like to see 2 years of bank statements of whatever amount of money you said you're making. So if you say I'm making 200,000, then those statements, they need to see deposits that support your claim of making whatever you said you were making.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
So let me ask you, how long have you been in real estate?
So I have been in real estate for 17 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, I
you
love
a
it.
veteran.
I am a veteran. I love it.
Congratulations to you for
Yes.
even being a small business owner for that length of time.
Well, thank you. I actually got into real estate in 2003, but I opened my own brokerage in 2012. So
Go
I've
ahead,
been,
girl.
I know, it's amazing, right? And I swear, it's
You
not
on
even.
fire.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. It's not even like I started off, with having this big dream. It just kind of happened. And quite frankly, I always say, well, my story's a little corny, but it's my story. And I was with my grandmother, who was elderly, and quite frankly, she was dying. And I was just spending some time with her. And, she was always my biggest cheerleader. And I just looked at her. And I swear it was fate, I guess. I don't know. And I just said, Grandma, I'm going to open up my own brokerage and I'm going to name it after you.
Oh.
And she said, okay, baby. In old grandma's fashion, right?
Yes, that baby. All grandmothers say baby after every word. Yeah.
Yes, and that's all I needed. And,
Right.
and that is actually how it happened. And then, with the support of my dad, I did it. And I am still
That's
here
great.
8 years later. And I love every bit of it.
Are you a full-time realtor? Because I've met a lot of realtors who were, part-time, and then they also had something else going on.
So prior to getting into real estate, I was in education, and I still do some of those things. But full-time agent yes, I am a full-time agent. I also have 10 other agents that work in my company, so I supervise them.
Great.
So yeah, full-time agent is. Yeah, we always work.
Well, but that's good to know, because a lot of people, they want a full-time agent who's going to dedicate the time that's needed to, to
Absolutely.
help them. They don't want somebody that's working 2 other jobs and a dog walker and some other stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
no.
anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying if you're doing it full-time and you have 10 agents under you, then I think your client is going to know that you have their best interest at heart.
Yeah, my clients absolutely know. And that's the biggest thing, because, I feel that any kind of business is about relationships. And communication is so very important.
Yeah.
Yes, it
your
is.
clients do not want to call you and they can't, and you're not accessible, right?
That's right.
I pick the phone up, I answer texts, I'm on email. I think they asked me, well, when the heck do I ever sleep?
But Carl, that's all small business owners, right, Carl?
That's right.
None of us sleep.
Sleep is fake.
Right.
I always tell people, when I die, I'll be asleep for a long
That's
time.
right.
Don't worry about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
what would you say to someone interested in becoming a real estate agent or a realtor?
Okay, so what I have to say to anyone that's interested in becoming a realtor or a real estate agent is, please do your due diligence first. It is a fantastic industry to get into. It's very gratifying. It's a lot of work, but it's awesome. And you can make some good money. But what you will not do is go to school, get your license, pop out and say, okay, world, I'm ready to be a millionaire. And that's what people think, because, that's what they think they see. But it actually does not work that way. So here's what I say. I say that you need to, and this is a little bit of a plug for me, but that's okay. I'm giving this information because it is so very necessary. But I have a webinar that I'm launching on September 1st, and it's called What They Don't Tell You Before Getting Your Real Estate License.
Okay.
You hear
Sounds
me?
good.
What they don't tell you before getting your real estate license. And I'm not discouraging anyone. I'm just saying that everyone needs to do their due diligence prior to getting into the industry so that they're ready and that they can increase their chances of becoming more successful.
Well, give us your website address and all of your social media platforms so that folks can reach out to you, and how would they also be able to see the webinar? I'm assuming they'll see that information on your website.
Yeah. So basically, they can just go to as I mentioned previously, it will be marketed on Facebook. My Facebook is Penn Premier Real Estate Group.
And that's Penn with two N's.
That's Penn with two N. I'm sorry, PENN Premier PREMIER Real Estate Group. And then on Instagram, you can find me at Penn Premier. And if you actually just go to, where's my little?
And this is your website. You said was PennPremierRealEstateGroup.com. Is that what you said?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, my website is PennPremier.com. Yes, I'm sorry, PennPremierRealEstateGroup.com. Yes. And then one other thing. Well, two other things. One, if you're interested in purchasing or selling, you can feel free to please go and download my free ebook.
Okay.
You can find it at buying, BUYING, and selling, SELLING, a home, .G, Greg R, Robert, the number 8.com.
GR8.com. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then one last thing. Okay.
Yeah, hurry.
If you're interested in becoming a real estate agent, as I said, you need to do your due diligence. Check out agentmastermindgroup.gr, the number 8.com.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have.
Marcia, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, I thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah. We'll be right back after these messages here on the Small Business Report, Sirius XM, Channel 141.
Hey, Small Business Report listeners, are you a small or mid-sized business? Let BDPAtoday.com help you leverage emerging technologies and digital innovations to transform your business.
BDPAtoday.com will highlight your organization's innovations, solutions, and success stories. Let BDPAtoday.com publish your branded videos, blogs, and photos to a national tech industry audience and assist with your awareness building campaign. With BDPAtoday.com, you can network with qualified and certified tech professionals and get access to developers, gamers, hackers, and interns to join your team for short or long-term projects.
Visit BDPAtoday.com for true digital transformation that will drive competitive advantage to your organization.
That's BDPAtoday.com.
Computer systems in cars are the new normal, from electronically controlled transmissions to dozens of sensors. So when something breaks, it could cost a fortune. That's why I have CarShield. CarShield has affordable protection plans that can save you thousands for a covered repair, including computers and electronics. The people at CarShield understand payment flexibility is a must. Monthly plans can be customized to your needs with rates as low as $99 a month. No long-term contracts. At CarShield, you get to choose your favorite mechanic or dealership, and CarShield takes care of the rest. They offer complimentary 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car while yours is being repaired. CarShield has helped over 1 million customers. For as low as $99 a month, you can protect yourself from surprises and save thousands for a covered repair. Call 800-CAR-6000 and mention code REPORT, or visit carshield.com and use code REPORT to save 10%. That's carshield.com, code REPORT. A deductible may apply.
This is HUR Voices on Sirius XM Radio Channel 141 with your hosts Carl Brown and Sharon Morton.
Welcome back to the Small Business Report here on Sirius XM Channel 141, HUR Voices. And on this segment, we're going to have Stefanie Lomax, HR Pro for You, talk about human resources in this COVID-19 environment. So, hey, Stefanie, welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome,
Thank you.
Stefanie.
Thank you. Thank you both so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and share.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot to share. It must be a whole different kind of world with human resources when it comes to managing people, especially because so many people are working from home. What do you think?
I absolutely. I think the biggest struggle that everybody had to come into grips with, outside of the fact that we were in a pandemic, was a lot of businesses that just had never thought about permanently, extended periods of time working remotely. And so they really had to figure out what that looked like for their business. And it was literally different for every business. There was there's no cookie cutter solution or no one way to do it. And so dealing with, managing that process and making sure that there was some level of continuity with their business, and then having to manage everybody's stuff that they're dealing with in terms of, focusing on the pandemic and then also trying to be productive, was a pretty swift but challenging process nonetheless.
Well, I'm going to just throw this out there because this is my pet peeve. Everybody can't work from home. I'm sorry.
So, yes, I understand where that comes from.
but you know what, though? I have found, like most of my friends, they're even more productive. I have a few friends that work for insurance companies. The insurance companies have found that the staff is working even more. They're even more productive. So they've closed down a few of their brick and mortar locations because the staff is so productive. I know when I work from home, I tend to work longer than I do if I'm, somewhere else on location.
Sure.
So I'm sure you're getting a mixed bag, right, from everybody and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to Carl's point, it is difficult for a lot of people to work remote for lots of reasons.
Yeah,
it's also, and it's also people's level of productivity is different as well. Because if you think about it this way, you're in an office setting where people can see what you're doing, and sometimes that doesn't stop people from being non-productive, if we're being totally honest, but I think you were a little more conscious. Whereas now, now when you come home, what employers really had to think about was, okay, I have an employee that's working from home. If they're married, their spouse is also working from home. If they have kids, their kids are, in the first 3 months of this, in school. So we're having to manage schoolwork. People are ordering groceries, so the doorbell's ringing. There's a lot happening. And so when you try to measure productivity, it doesn't happen in a 9 to 5 time frame for everybody. So employers had to relax some of their, I need to know you're working 8 hours a day, to be more of a, here's the list of deliverables and the deadlines they need to happen. And then you figure out how to make them work within a reasonably to make sure you can get it done. For some people, that was 8 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had to kind of let go of the traditional, these are my work hours. And employees had to give themselves some grace, because I think they came home and said, oh my God, they're going to think I'm doing nothing. So I need to work, be on the clock at 8 o'clock and then stay till 8 p.m. And it became just stressful in general. And so I talked with a lot of my clients about kind of relaxing the time of the day versus having them to, report deliverables maybe at the end of the night or whatever that looked like for them, but to at least have the conversation. Don't go into it with the expectation and then never have said anything.
It's a new normal for everyone. Everybody has to realize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? Like some industries have gone away from brick and mortar before the COVID. And they, and my cousin's one of them. They worked in a brick and mortar environment, and then their boss came in and said, hey, everybody's going remote from now on. Here's a new computer. Here's a laptop. Get, the best Wi-Fi that you can, whatever service is provided in your neighborhood. and you'll be working from home from now on. And this has been years ago because they
Wow.
just didn't want to pay for that
Brick and mortar.
mortgage
Yeah.
on the
Right.
building they were housed in.
Right.
And so they were like, hey, everybody work from home. And to my cousin, she was working 12 hours instead of 8.
Yeah,
Right.
everybody I know, they work longer. And technology has come so far. It's so advanced now that I think employers do know when you're on and off that computer. Is that right, Stephanie?
They can.
they
They
know.
can.
What'd you
Yeah,
say, Carl?
they know.
They can.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely can. But I think that employers also have to set a little bit of an expectation that I don't want you working 12 and 14 hours a day.
Yeah, right.
Right,
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I don't
To
want,
burn
that's
out.
not what I'm
Yeah.
asking. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
Because
definitely
you can't cut off. Right?
Right.
We already had a problem disconnecting because we're so connected to technology. So we're answering emails on the way home as it is. Well, now you get up from your bedroom, you come downstairs to the office, the kitchen, the basement. I mean, you could do that all day long. We're captive here. So I think it's a communication piece around setting several expectations and then also giving people some grace. And I've been saying that a lot during this pandemic because we don't know all of what folks are dealing with. I've got clients that have employees who have family
Yeah.
that are home with them. Then I've got clients that have employees that they are isolated. There's no family here. They don't, they're not engaged with people because we were especially in the beginning, in a lockdown situation. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't be with anybody. So that creates a level of stress, I think, that people don't give credit to.
Yeah, there's definitely some, we need to be more cognizant of the mental toll, the psychological
Absolutely.
toll that
it
takes on people who are
that
especially
is
alone.
big.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's even if
Yep.
it's not being verbalized, it starts to manifest itself in different ways for folks. And so I think one of the things. Go ahead.
What are you going to say, Carl?
I was just going to say, a lot of my friends are starting to talk about that.
It's
You
good
know,
that they
they're
are.
calling me and I'm calling them and they're going, man, how you feeling? And then, oh man, I'm isolated. I'm I'm working long hours at home. I'm not sleeping at night.
Wow.
People are just saying it. And
Yep.
this thing is affecting all of us.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
and then you throw in the news that's always bad. I always say the
All
news
day.
can be bad for your health if you're listening to all the bad stuff that's happening and all the politics, and you're home alone.
I mean, even the
and-
former first lady said she
Yeah.
was dealing with low
Light-
depression.
Low grade depression.
Yeah,
low
yeah.
low grade depression. I mean,
Just listening to the
everyone
news.
is dealing with something.
Yeah.
At one
yeah.
point, my mom and my aunt were in the hospital with the COVID.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Carl, I didn't
Yeah,
know that
both
your
of
mom
them.
had COVID or
know?
your aunt. You didn't mention that
Yeah.
to me.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. My aunt,
Wow.
94 years old
Oh, my
with
goodness.
COVID, and my mother, 87 with COVID.
And they survived it. That's a blessing.
They
it
survived.
is.
My mother's roommate died. Her buddy from across the hall died. They were all
wow.
COVID positive at the same time.
They're in
Wow.
nursing homes, right, Carl? They were in nursing
Yeah.
homes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
where that's where it is. Oh, gosh, that's
Yeah. And I
Stephanie-
think, one of the other things I've been talking with clients about, actually, my podcast that will air tomorrow night, I talked about
what's
workplace.
it called? What's your podcast?
Oh,
called?
yes, the podcast is HR in the Dark. It's
okay.
actually
All
a
right.
video podcast.
Okay.
And we talk about, varying topics. Sometimes I have guests, sometimes it's just me. But tomorrow's episode is about, workplace wellness programs.
Yeah.
And how we can start to incorporate some of that specifically for small businesses, because large businesses have been doing it for a long time. But with the pandemic, I think that smaller businesses have come to recognize that it's a small investment to make to see long-term benefits of their employees just being well.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie, we
so-
have about
Well,
a minute left before the next segment. So give us
Sure.
all your website address and your social media platforms really quickly before we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So my website is www.hrpro, the number 4, YOU.com. And then you can find me on social media. Instagram, and LinkedIn and Twitter as well.
Oh, you're everywhere. Okay.
And YouTube.
You better be.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to get this message out here. It's important.
Well, did you have one more place? Because we're about to go to break.
No, that was all. That was all.
Okay, well, we'll be right back after these messages here on SiriusXM Channel 141, HUR Voices.
Get ready for skincare and makeup that will heal your mind, body, and soul. SkinDeepBeautyStore.com is a totally organic and vegan skincare and makeup line that you'll love using, because what you put on your body is just as important as what you put in it. Choose from our organic moisturizers, anti-aging serums, natural and fruit-based scrubs, masks, lipsticks, and glosses. No more worries about harsh chemicals being absorbed into your skin. It's time to commit to your health and wellness. SkinDeepBeautyStore.com is your one-stop, cruelty-free skincare and makeup shop with safe and environmentally friendly ingredients for the love of you. Visit us at SkinDeepBeautyStore.com. That's SkinDeepBeautyStore.com.
Hey, Small Business Report listeners, it's your host, Carl Brown and Sharon Morton. Are you a growing small or mid-sized government contractor ready to reduce your back office costs? Do you want to maximize your compliance and minimize risk managing contracts? Move your business to the next level of success with At-Work Systems.
At-Work's OneLink solution provides electronic self-services to every employee, greatly reducing frustrating paperwork. Your managers get out-of-the-box processes that increases productivity, improves control, and eliminates surprises. And most importantly, your executives get the real-time data and analysis needed to make better decisions.
Take it from us here on the Small Business Report on SiriusXM. Let At-Work Systems streamline your back office and save you money while doing it.
Visit exploreatwork.com now and receive your free demo and business assessment. That's exploreatwork.com. Are you a business owner and your business needs a boost? Are you ready to build or grow a profitable business that delivers new clients and customers to you every month? Have your business highlighted on a national radio show or TV network. Let MortonMediaTV.com help you get the maximum exposure your business deserves so that you can get the customers you need. MortonMediaTV.com will help you start or grow your business rapidly through the power of TV and radio. You can reach hundreds of thousands of viewers and listeners who want to buy your product or service. At MortonMediaTV.com, our mission is to teach business owners how to use the media to their benefit. You can become a thriving entrepreneur and achieve the financial freedom you've always dreamed about. Go to MortonMediaTV.com and get your business on TV or radio for the maximum exposure you deserve and the customers you need. That's MortonMediaTV.com.
This is HUR Voices on Sirius XM Radio Channel 141 with your hosts Carl Brown and Sharon Morton.
Welcome back. This is Carl Brown, and you're listening to the Small Business Report. And today we have Stefanie Lomax on the line with us. Sharon and I in the studio, and we're going to talk to Stefanie about, we were just talking about wellness for small businesses and their employees. Now, fortunate enough, we at the DC Small Business Development Center had a few workshops on wellness, and this is before the COVID. So you just gave me an idea. I need to bring those people back so we can have a couple of more wellness workshops for anyone who wants to tune in. So all they would have to do is go to our website. But yeah, so Stefanie, what are some of the biggest challenges facing small businesses right now?
So what I am seeing and hearing most is we want to make sure that our employees are okay, because they are working remotely a lot, or they have shifted to do like rotating type schedules. So they do, 1 day on, 1 day off, or 1 week on, 1 week off. And so business owners are definitely feeling the need to make sure their employees are doing okay, while also balancing the need to make sure that their business is doing okay. There's a really fine line. You had some businesses that closed down temporarily. You had some that continued to work and able to do so remotely because they were considered essential. And so trying to figure all of that out was a big challenge. And I think that in some ways they're still faced with managing those remote teams, keeping the employees engaged, making sure their business stays afloat. You had to deal with PPP and idle and all these other things, so business owners got slammed with a lot of decisions to have to make in a really, really short period of time. So now we're kind of unwinding from that to some degree. It's settling slightly, but people are still working remote. People have varying degrees of what they feel is safe practices. And then how do you manage that if you've got folks coming into the office? You've got to set those protocols. So those are really the challenges that I'm seeing with small businesses, is just managing now in a COVID world, because there's no exact, specific, direct answer, and then things changing so much.
Yeah.
Every one day. Week it's this, and one so trying to keep that balance, I think is probably one of the biggest challenges I'm seeing.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because as a small business owner, I felt like, was very challenged with so many applications to complete for, grants and loans and webinars. And, then I was doing, 2 and 3 Zoom meetings a week. And
that's
still
all
trying to.
You got off easy.
No, I'm not. The Zoom meetings. Oh yeah. You and Carl. I have to award. You all probably get
6, 7
trophies.
a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It will wear you down. It really wears you down.
I'm zoomed out.
I know. Yeah, and so it I just wanted our listeners, who are a lot of small business owners, to understand that they are not the only ones. All of us are going through something, in terms of trying to maintain our businesses or start a business, or, owners who were in the middle of starting a business and then COVID came along,
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, my God.
Carl, tell us about that.
I had people, and Stefanie's working with me on the COVID-19 initiative. But let me tell you, I had a bar that was getting ready to open up, a cigar bar. And boom, the COVID.
Wow. Yeah.
So many different places. I saw 2 restaurants that I was really interested in eating at. Both of them they are not open yet, and probably will not open.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the heartbreak, all the work, the time, the blood, sweat, and tears that go into starting a restaurant, getting the loan, getting all the inventory.
The inventory, all that cooking and all that.
And you can't even open.
Dishes, all that, and you can't even open.
That's heartbreaking.
It's crazy.
It's interesting, Carlos, you bring that up, because one of the things that you and I had talked about was with the COVID initiative was, how do we help these businesses reopen or close down? Because that's a possibility too, right?
So you kind of tell them, you're straight up with them. Tell everybody about the COVID initiative, by the way.
Yeah, so it's a cohort of about 13 or 14 business experts in varying capacities or fields of expertise. And through the DC SBDC and through funding from the SBA, we were able to provide these services to businesses that are in DC or that do business in DC to help them with their reopening strategies and the things that they need. But in some instances, it's also, what do I need to do if I've got to, close my doors? And so we work with them. Specifically, I work with HR, of course, and helping them with, their HR components of the business in this COVID situation. And one of the resources that I've been providing to clients through DCSBDC and then also just other clients as well is a reopening strategy checklist that they can download from the website. And it basically just gives them a list of 5 or 6 different categories and then items underneath of those categories where they just need to be thinking about. These are things you should be considering as you are planning to reopen, if that's what your plan is.
How do you all console? I'm sorry. How do you all console businesses who were in the middle of opening and were not able to open, especially in the restaurant business? I mean, I think that's one of the hardest businesses.
Well, how about people who've been out there 20 years?
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
But what about, I was thinking restaurants were like among the hardest hit because, once they had to close, that they were laying off, dozens of staff. And then they got a chance to reopen for a week or two and then had to close again. And like you said, you even had owners that didn't even get a chance to open and probably won't open. How do they deal with that? How do you help them deal with that?
Well, there's a lot of things that you have to deal with. But, Stefanie, you could chime in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is coming to the reality is of if that's what really is going to happen. Yeah. The second thing is, and one of the things that I've learned during this time is there a way, and we've seen tons and tons of success stories with this, is there a way for me to pivot any kind of way? So instead of like shutting completely down, is there a way for me to pivot this business to do something slightly different
go online
than what I've been doing? Yeah. And
There's
it's not that doesn't take effort and dollars, but it's a consideration that could be made if it makes sense to do so.
There's a cupcake company that is doing even better, way better online now than they did with their brick and mortar business. They were like,
there's several of them like that.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. They pivoted and they said, hey, we're not going down without a fight. Let us try this online thing. And, they're really doing well. I love hearing stories
getting
like
back
that.
to, what do we tell them? I mean, if they're in a long-term lease, can you negotiate with your landlord, better terms on your lease? Because if you're not generating any revenue, you can't pay that, whether it's $2,000, $3,000 lease or monthly lease. I mean, and if you're open, but you're only doing 25% capacity, then can you pay a smaller fee every month and then put what you owe in arrears on the back end? And, hopefully the SBA will come up with some rent relief money
or something.
For these small business owners, because that's what they need, instead of, letting them go out of business. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be driving 10 miles to take your clothes to the cleaners because your local cleaners is no longer there. You're going to be driving 10 miles or 15 miles to get a pizza because your local pizzeria is no longer there.
Pizza Hut,
sandwich shop or whatever. Pizza Hut is shutting down 300 locations. I mean, so this thing is not only affecting small businesses, is affecting large business as well. And so we got to find a better way to support these small businesses. And we're doing everything that we can in my shop. We're helping them renegotiate their leases and all that good stuff. So
we got about a minute left. Stefanie, you want to give us your website, and then Carl, we can close out. It's been wonderful talking to you, Stefanie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. Anyone that's interested in reaching out, you can find me on the website is www.hrpro4you.com, and you can get that COVID-19 checklist. It's a free download that you can use for your business. If you need additional assistance post that, please reach out to me through the website. You can also find me on social media at hrpro4you, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay, great. Great.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
absolutely welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Well,
All
you have
anything
been
else?
listening to the Small Business Report. We'll be back next week with great guests and information you can use to make your business grow.
This has been Carl Brown and Sharon Morton giving you all the tools you need to succeed on the Small Business Report. Thank you for listening, and be sure to tune in next week at HUR Voices on Sirius XM Channel 141. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook. And for more tips on starting, growing, and financing your business, visit us at thesmallbusinessreport.biz.